That is it.
There's one thing we haven't talked about. We need to talk about it, which is, for the first time, Donald Trump used Spanish. He spoke a Spanish word only to insult and smear and stereotype Latino immigrants and no other immigrants. He said we have some bad hombres. The only time this man has used Spanish in the entire election was used to stereotype and smear Latino immigrants. Not all immigrants, but Latino immigrants. I thought that was horrible. And if you look at Twitter, that's going to be another reason that the Republican Party is going to have a very difficult time being a party for all the country.
This is where we get into this politically correct.
No, it's not politically correct.
It is.
It's
nonsense. Please, America, this is nonsense. This is nonsense.
Gotta let me finish my point. Gotta let me finish my point. He was not talking about. Let's put context here instead of bringing out two words. Context. Sabine Durden lost her son at the hand of an illegal immigrant. He would still be here today if the laws were enforced.
But you cannot.
And is that man a bad hombre? A bad man? A bad hombre? Whatever you want to call that man.
You cannot do it.
It wasn't all immigrants, and that's where context is so important.
Hold on a second. First
he was talking about the immigrants who have come into this country. They're a minority, yes, 100%. They're a small number, but nevertheless, there are people who would still be alive today had the laws been enforced. Americans have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Everyone.
Absolutely.
And no one should die at the hands of an illegal immigrant.
No one should die at the hands of anybody.
Exactly.
And I tell you what, there's something
Unless
wrong.
they're a baby.
Hold on a second.
Unless they're a baby in the night.
There's something wrong when you take funerals and you politicize funerals. I've gone to plenty of them. I've seen people killed by police. I've seen people killed by, I've seen African-American kids killed by other African-American kids. I've seen Latino kids killed by other Latinos. I've seen people killed by people with papers, without papers. The reality is, when you start cherry picking, and you say, well, I'm going to pick these particular ones and use that to beat up a whole community, that is disgusting, it's wrong, and people understand what you're doing. And it's not right.
Let's play this again, just for those who maybe didn't see it. Let's play the moment, the moment that's gotten a lot of coverage online.
We're going to secure the border, and once the border is secured, at a later date, we'll make a determination as to the rest. But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
What was your reaction?
No, this is not politicizing someone's death, Van. This is really important here. And if we want to talk about picking and choosing which deaths to care about, you know, President Obama has cared about certain men who have died at the hands of police officers. Your idea about politicizing deaths, I assume it applies to your own president. It's not politicizing deaths to care about a certain group of people. And Donald Trump cares about the fact that kids in New Hampshire have died of heroin that has been brought in here by illegal immigrants. There are people who have lost.
My father immigrated
one at a time,
Patty. From Mexico illegally twice, was deported twice, came back the third time legally. To me, I was born here. I'm an American citizen. To me, that was very offensive. You heard me when we were watching it in the green room. I was aghast at it. I went, that's just offensive. It's offensive to Hispanics. It's offensive to Mexicans. Bad hombres.
Oh, come on, Patty. Patty, you're an American. I'm an American. I've heard that phrase all my life. That has nothing to do with Donald Trump.
Where do you hear that? Why do you think where do you hear it?
No, this line has been an American.
Where do you hear that phrase?
American television westerns in the 1950s. He's a bad hombre.
1950s.
My goodness.
I'm not. By the way, I'm not sure a 1950s American television is the best benchmark for what is good language and what's not offensive.
I have never heard that compared to, say, the N-word. Right?
Okay.
Right?
But Jeffrey,
this
why
is
do you
political
think he used that
correctness
phrase?
to a
Why didn't he
max.
just say bad dudes? Why didn't he just say bad dudes?
Because there are dudes that would be offended if you say dude. Because somebody would come up with this.
Why did he specifically use Spanish in that instance?
Well, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it.
So why do you think he did it, though? I mean, because it's a
colloquial. It's in the American language.
No one says that. No one says that, Jeffrey.
You don't know enough people.
Maybe it's
But here's the thing.
1950s
Donald Trump has defended the language he uses and says about women, I don't say things like that. That's not what I do. Well, tonight, Patty was very offended
And
Patty, I love her
I
to
think
death,
she
but
has
she's
a
just
lot
being
more
politically
credibility
correct.
than I do on that.
All right.
And if she's offended, I'm offended.
I can't even believe what I'm
Oh, my
hearing.
goodness.
That we live in such a high offense culture that when you call someone who has killed American citizens bad hombres, and we're going to critique the language you use, two words you chose to use. This is such a high offense culture, and this is why. This is why. By the way, I want to point out really quick. This is why Donald Trump won this nomination, because Americans around this country are fed up.
And it's why
with
he's
the high
going to lose the
offense
presidency, most
culture that we
likely.
have.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you. So here's the deal. This is not about being a high offense country. I agree with you. There are some people who are just chronically aggrieved, and no matter what you do, they're gonna. I'm in meetings with them all the time. Trust me. So I get what you're talking about, but this is not that. This is something else. This is a sense that we've not yet heard him say very many positive things about the contribution of the Latino immigrant community. We have
We just don't play it.
Hold on a second.
Let him finish. Let me finish.
He doesn't trumpet it. He had an opportunity to say nice stuff tonight. We talked about immigration tonight. He had a huge opportunity to try to repair some damage with a community. He could have said, listen, we got some bad ones, but let me tell you a little bit about the good ones, the ones who are making a difference, who are making a contribution. He did like George W. Bush used to do. He didn't do that. And then to put the cherry on top of the awful Sunday, he then says there's some bad hombres, which sounds to people for whom
politically correct.
No.
It's
See, listen.
offensive, Jeffrey. Period. End of story. It's offensive.
Okay, he has to say he hasn't praised the
Let's stop talking about how
He
offensive it is.
stood beside the Mexican president and praised the contributions of the Mexican-American community. He's done this time and time again. There are so many good immigrants in this country, but there are some very bad ones, and we never get to the root of the problem because we're all upset about the term bad hombre.
Okay, but let's stop talking about how offensive it is. He was supposed to broaden his base tonight. He was supposed to expand his voters today, right? Yes?
Yes, of course.
He offended Hispanics.
No.
He offended women. He offended other minorities. How did he expand his base tonight? How is he going to win the presidency?
This is exactly the point, Patty, is that you divide by race. Van and I have famously had this conversation.
I'm not
that when you divide by race like this and think of people as not Americans, but by their nationality.
But hombres.
Am I supposed to take offense if somebody says I'm a wasp?
But Jeffrey, her question.
And I'm not totally.
Her question was more, what new groups did he reach out to and actually get tonight? Did he?
Sure. People who are sick of this nonsense. I mean, to think that this is limited to any particular group or age is crazy. They're all Americans. They're all human beings. They all have different views of it. They are individuals.
Right. No, I'm just wondering if like tonight, but I feel like those people he's probably already gotten. So was there anyone new?
I have an idea. I think that when Donald Trump goes into private life, which he will be doing very soon, he should take out a patent on a self-kicking machine, because that is his brand now. He had a complete opportunity tonight to go out there and repair some damage with some constituencies to show that he actually gets it. See, the thing is, you don't get to determine what offends me. I don't get to determine what offends you.
That's what you guys are doing.
No, hold on a second.
You're determining that the whole entire Hispanic American community.
I'm only looking at Twitter. I'm sorry.
Twitter is not much of a
Twitter. That's a scientific sample right there.
Sure. Well, let's watch tomorrow. But my point is, if I say something to you that you find offensive, it's my job to listen to you and figure out, in the name of civility. So we used to call it civility. See, the basis of civilization. They became politically correct only when certain other people started insisting on civil treatment. But if I tell you something and you say that offended me, it's my job in the name of civility to listen to you and try to do a better job next time. The problem we have right now is you got a certain set of people in the country that say, you telling me that you're offended means you're the problem, not me. Not my speech, your response to my speech. And we'll never have a country that way.
Or if you tell me that I might lose, it's not my fault. It's not because I failed. It's because the election was rigged.
Or
I think it's sort of the same line of reasoning, and I don't want to change the subject from but on the failed election issue and the question of legitimacy, Lindsey Graham, no fan of Donald Trump, tweeted that if he loses, it's because he failed. period. Now, this is a senator, member of Congress. To Michael's good point before, there are members of Congress who watch this and who are up for re-election. And what if, I spoke with a House member the other day who said to me, what if I win in my state and Donald Trump loses and challenges the election? What does that do to me and my election? Are my voters disenfranchised? Are my votes illegitimate? I mean, this is an issue. Donald Trump is about Donald Trump, not about the Republican Party, and I think that's what this is about.
This is a good issue, and 2 points. Number one, to my friend Michael, which I just sent you there, an article in the New York Times about a federal judge in Philadelphia overruling a Pennsylvania state Senate election and throwing a Democrat out of the state Senate, giving control of the Senate to Republicans because he said the Democrats stole the election and they used a dead person's vote, among many others, to accomplish it. This is a problem. I've been reading tonight about a Princeton professor who does this enormous study about how easy it is to hack voting machines, saying there is a problem here. Will we recognize the problem?
Is this anecdotal, or at this point, or is it a huge scourge?
I think when you've got all these people and CBS and all these other places, reputable institutions, Princeton University, saying that these elections can be stolen in a blink, in essence, we've got a huge problem. We shouldn't be trusting computers. Then, yeah, there's a problem. Yes.
You said you don't want people divided by race. Let me just say one thing, and then I want to make a large